and welcome back to Eco Socialist. So I just thought I'd do another update. It's been a few weeks and my situation has drastically changed, even if I can sort of speak properly. I said in my last video that my hours had been cut because Frankie and Benny's had shut down. Well, I since then have got a new job. I now work in a ready meal factory local to me. So it's been a big change. So I just thought I'd talk to you a little bit today about sort of that big change. Because it was massive for me. So first off, I did the application online on their website, sort of directly. It's the same place where my partner works, and we're now working on the same shift pattern, so we can spend our sort of, because we're doing 4 days on, 4 days off, we spend the 4 days off together, so it's a little bit healthier for our relationship. Anyway, getting into it. So, had the phone interview, got told that I had the job at the end of the phone interview, because obviously COVID restrictions, phone interviews healthier that way. So I got email through saying sort of when I should go for my training and my sort of induction. Well, first of all, I had to have a sort of test to sort of test my maths and I think general sort of literacy knowledge, and I think a bit of sort of food sort of knowledge as well. You guys know that I'm dyslexic and suffer from anxiety, and to be honest, when that anxious part of me rears its ugly little head, it exasperates my dyslexia, and the fact that it makes it harder for me to concentrate on things. And dyslexia makes it hard enough as it is concentrating on a black and white page with sort of numbers and letters on. So I basically flunked all of the math part of the test, and somehow they still hired me. I think they still saw a little bit of potential there, and they sort of understood the sort of combinations of sort of restrictions I had with my mental health and my learning disability. So anyway, after doing that, sort of, I think it was about 4 days after, I went for my induction, where they took me through all of the sort of health and hygiene, sort of, how, when to sort of report sort of an illness, and reporting sort of safety things, fire drill type, fire assembly points, all the sort of health and safety stuff that you kind of need before entering a new job, which I thought was a lot more thorough than my sort of last cleaning job did. So impressed right there. Impressed a lot right there. So yeah. So it was about 3 days ago when I had my first day. Now they couldn't actually sort of take any of the sort of the new sort of newcomers for a tour around the factory to do any of that sort of induction because of social distancing and COVID restrictions. So I think that made my first day that little bit harder because I was going into an extremely unfamiliar environment, and anyone with sort of anxiety knows that can be a backbreaker, shall we say. So yes, I think I spent the day chasing my tail, to put it mildly, and hoping I didn't do too badly. So the job that they sort of employed me to do was a pre-production sort of line worker. So I'd be sort of rise fast into the pot, and hopefully keeping up and not getting too much on the floor. And some of the lines would be sort of quite slow, some of them would be quick, some of them I would be panicking my butt off while doing. These are the things you don't really think about when you kind of go into that supermarket and you buy this convenience food and it takes you like sort of 5 to 10 minutes in the microwave, that someone on a sort of production line might be panicking their butt off trying to sort of make it in sort of like a few people down the line, people on each side of the line, sort of each putting their own little bit in. So probably within a minute, or less than a minute, there'd be a sort of like meal made. So sort of, yeah, compare that to your sort of 5 minutes you've gone to the freezer, you've taken it out, and you've shoved it in the microwave, and I'm babbling, but it was a stressful day. And I'm hoping I do better. So, obviously handling food, I was in the sort of high risk area of factory, so I had to put on a lot of PPE, but I was not used to sort of layering up, not used to it all. So, yeah. Someone showed me how to do it the first time, and I just tried to remember the order. So you had to sort of put your earplugs in, which are like those blue ones that are on a string. So those go in, and then you have to make sure that your hair's up and nothing's sticking out. You have to put a hairnet on, so a blue hairnet, and then you put a red, like sort of disposable mop cap over the top of that. And you have to take your shoes off. And you sit on this metal bench, and you have to put your shoes on this big sort of like metal rack that everyone else is. And you swing your legs over the other side, and you go and find your like steel toe cap wellies, sort of put it. But they're these sort of like white Wellington boots that I was told to sort of write my name on, because you know store everyone's in the same place, and they had a padlock on so that nobody could steal it. So sort of in the middle they'd have like this little padlock, and you were given a set of keys to put on your lanyard that you're supposed to put your clocking card and things on as well. So yeah, I was given like this white lab coat to put on, put on the floor, put the lab coat on. You have to wash your hands properly, like everyone's being told to during COVID, but only have to do it every time because obviously food, health and safety, and no cross-contamination between food and stuff like that. So you wash your hands, and then you sanitize your hands after sort of drying them as well, because washing your hands, didn't realise, doesn't always get all the bacteria off. So so you always double up, and then you put your lab coat on, and because it's a temperature controlled area, they also issue you with a really big thick fleece, and it's counted as one of your PPE sort of components as well, because it protects you from the cold, so it's a form of PPE as well. So on top of your sort of nice thick fleece, I had a sort of jumper, long sleeved sort of t-shirt on underneath as well, sort of making sure my layers were up, because I didn't want to feel cold. Although I found it actually quite mild, to be honest, because you're always doing something, so you're not really standing still long enough, or standing completely still because your arms are working, so you're always doing something, or in my case, you are doing a little bit of anxious sweating in the heart, palpitations going, hoping that you're actually doing things right, right? So yeah, you've got your sort of lab coat on, you then go through, you put this big sort of rubber apron on, and sort of you change between two colours, red and yellow, depending sort of how long it's going to think, sort of, and between products and what one you want. I'm not completely clear on that, but the good thing is they don't use disposable sort of aprons. I think they used to, they use the sort of rubber aprons. I think that's sort of a little bit more sustainable than disposable. I mean, when you're sort of gloving up, shall we say, match to sort of whatever colour you're wearing, you'll sort of put a pair of white gloves on, which are sort of washable, and you put your latex free sort of gloves on top of whatever sort of matching colour you're using, and then you put your plastic sleeve things. I'm completely flunking the technical names here, but I think anyone who's worked in a factory will know what they're actually called. I'm just going to call them sleeves, because I'm getting it wrong. First time ever working in a factory. I'm not going to say that I know everything, because it's a really steep learning curve for me. A stressful one. So, sort of, the first line they put me on, I was weighing things and sort of making sure that everything was the correct weight. I will switch lines sort of quite often. The only thing I felt like I was actually doing right was putting pots on the line. I failed completely at sort of managing to sort of put sticky rice in a container, something that you would think was really, really easy, but it gets stuck on your gloves and goes completely everywhere on your weighing scale when you're doing it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really screwing up here. Yeah. So they moved me around quite a bit. I'm not quite sure whether it was because I was really screwing up badly, or the fact that I wasn't sort of on the rota yet. It being my first day, I was just being sent where there were sort of short people, but you know the ugly form of sort of anxiety take. You always go to the worst case scenario in your head. So by the end of the day, I was so mentally exhausted. I can remember saying to sort of one of the managers when I was sort of clocking out, he was sort of saying, so how do you think your first day went? I was like, well, apart from feeling as though I've sort of ruined every single bit of food that I have touched today, yeah, it's been excellent. another thing that I really struggled with was being able to hear even sort of what my line managers were trying to instruct me to do, because obviously it's quite noisy, you're wearing ear protection, and I've not been used to sort of working in a multilingual workplace and having to sort of understand a lot of different sort of accents, sort of apart from sort of the local accent and quite possibly my sort of partner's northern accent. I was not only struggling with noise, but trying to understand English spoken with a sort of Eastern European accent. I mean, all the ladies on the line, they were so lovely and as patient as they could be. I think sort of it it is and was what it is, you know. Not being used to being in that sort of environment. Steep learning curve, big steep learning curve. So on my 4 days off, I've tried to improve my the likelihood of me being able to hear by sort of truly sort of cleaning my ears, because I know sort of when you are kind of pushing something in your ears sort of on a regular basis, you kind of need to stay on top of your internal ear health. I kind of compare it to sort of putting cotton swabs down your ear, like you really shouldn't. And my partner's just dipped his head in because he doesn't know that I'm doing a video. You going, honey? So, yeah, I spent the last couple of days trying to clear my ears out, see whether that'll make much of a difference when I go back to work tomorrow for my full 4-day shift. Hopefully that'll help me. I would really love to understand some of these ladies. Some of them have such a wealth of experience. I sat down with one lady on my break, and she'd been sort of working in the same factory for 12 years, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. You've got so much sort of stamina, because it is really hard work. So on the union front, I've actually had to step down from my role as Unite Community Chair. It's such a big change, really, really such a big change. I don't know really where I stand right now, or even whether I don't know. Still want to be active within Unite, still sort of wanting to go to union meetings, but at the same time I think I need to be realistic with myself and let myself acclimatise to this kind of new working environment before I get active within my workplace. And I know there's quite a lot that I could campaign on within sort of the workplace at the minute, and I'll probably sort of mention them in sort of my next couple of videos, but so that this video doesn't become like half an hour long and I spend the whole day just trying to load it. I'm going to keep it to sort of at least under 20 minutes today. So just everyone sort of look after themselves and just remember that we all deserve to sort of be treated equally, and the planet deserves our respect, and so do we as individuals. So just everyone look after yourselves, and I will check in again soon. Love you all.